most amazing artist. I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Welcome to week 4 of our winter bird project. So far in this project, we've learned all about watercolor and we learned a couple different techniques using watercolor. We learned how to make a scrape painting and we turned our scrapes into beautiful birch trees. And last time we collaged, or we cut our trees out and we glued it to our background paper. Now today I'm super excited because we're going to make the bird for our winter birds. To do that, you're going to need some glue. I'm going to use a little glue cup and a glue brush. That's going to help me control my glue a little bit better. I have a pair of scissors, and at the very end I'm going to be using a black oil pastel to add just a couple more details to my artwork. You're also going to need your watercolor painting that we made in week 1 and your birch trees collaged onto your background that we did in week 2 and week 3. Since I'm going to be using messy sticky glue today, I do have a messy mat under my work so I don't get any sticky mess on my table. So to get started, I'm actually going to put my birch trees off to the side for just a second, and I am going to work on my watercolor painting. Because on the back of this, Miss M has drawn 4 different shapes for you. We have one large teardrop shape. This is going to be our bird's body. This shape will be our bird's head. This one is our bird's tail. And last but certainly not least, this smaller teardrop shape or raindrop shape is going to be our bird's wing. So the first thing we have to do is we have to cut these shapes out. And I'm going to make this easy for myself, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut my paper in half because it's kind of hard to cut on a huge piece of paper like this. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut that paper in half. So we have 2 smaller pieces and they will be a lot easier to work with. Now, of course, we are using scissors, so we have to use our very best scissor safety. Just a couple of reminders: our thumb goes in the small hole, our fingers go in the larger hole. Maybe you can fit 4, maybe you can only fit 3 or 2 fingers. Don't try to squish all your fingers in there because for me at least that's very uncomfortable. Only put however many fingers that is comfortable for you. Our thumb is always on top when we're cutting, and our scissors are only opening and closing, and of course the blade of my scissors is facing away from my body. My other hand is my lazy hand, and he's going to hold my paper and he's going to show my scissors where to cut. So my scissors are not going to be moving around this paper. My scissors are only opening and closing, and my lazy hand is rotating my paper around, showing my scissors where to cut. I just cut out the body for my bird. I'm going to set that off to the side, and I'm going to go ahead and cut out the head, the wing, and the tail, and I'll be right back to show you how to glue it together. I just finished cutting out all 4 parts for my bird. Now I'm going to bring over my birch trees again. And when we're ready to glue, this is going to be kind of like putting together a puzzle. And the first thing we're going to start with is the body for our bird. That's the bigger raindrop shape. So if you get confused between these 2 shapes, we know that the bigger one is the body and the smaller one is the wing for our bird. So don't use this one as his body because then his wing is going to be way too big for his body. The bigger one is his body and the smaller one is his wing. The first thing we're going to glue down is his body. So go ahead and find your larger raindrop shape, and we're going to glue this down just like how we always glue. We're going to take some glue, drip, drip, wipe it on the lip of your glue cup, not the lips on your face. Come on now, not the lips on your face, the lip of your glue cup. And then we're going to do little dots all the way around the edge of this shape. Do we need to put glue all in the middle? No, that'll be too much glue. We only need little dots all the way around the edge. Dot, dot, not a lot, my friends. Once you have dots all the way around the edge of your shape, we're going to flip it over, and the round part of this shape is going to be the top of our bird. The pointy end is going to be the bottom of our bird. And you can put your bird a little up high on your trees. You could put it in the middle, or you could put your bird more towards the bottom. That's totally up to you. I think I want my bird to be in the middle, so I'm gonna place him right in the middle, and I'm gently going to press down on those edges to make sure they are not going anywhere. In fact, I'm gonna hold this shape down, and I'm going to count to 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right, I think it's glued down, but I'm gonna make sure by doing the wiggle test. I'm gonna flip it over, wiggle it just a little bit, and if nothing falls off, then I am good to go. After you glue your body down, the next thing we're going to glue is his tail, and that's this rectangle shape. His tail is not gonna go up towards the top of his body. His tail is going to go more towards the bottom of his body, right over top of that little point down here. And I'm going to glue that down just like I glued his body down. Dot, dot, not a lot, drip, drip, wipe it on the lip, but not your lips, the lip of the glue cup. Am I going to glue his tail up towards the top of him? What about down here? No, his tail is going to go over on the left side, and it's going to go towards the bottom of his body, and then I'm going to glue it down. Hold it down and count to 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okie dokie, I need to do a wiggle test. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. All right, my tail didn't go anywhere, so now it's time to glue down the wing for my bird, and that's going to be the smaller teardrop shape, and the wing is going to go towards his back here. This part is his back, and it's gonna go right here. His wing's not gonna go on his belly. Down here is his belly. His wing is gonna go up towards his back side. Okay, so now let me flip my wing over and glue it down. Is his wing gonna go down on his belly? No, it's not gonna go down on his belly, and this point is actually gonna be pointing more towards his tail. The point of his wing does not go towards his head, because if we think of a real bird, the wing is always pointed towards the tail. So I'm going to place it down right on his back, hold it down, and count to 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okie dokie, artichoke, let's flip it over, do a wiggle test. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. It did not fall off, so I'm good to go. So sorry guys, my camera randomly shut off while I was trying to film this video. But I'm just going to show you what I did. So I did have a head and a beak for my bird, but I ripped it off, so I can go ahead and show you how to do that. So this is his head, and the head is going to go at the top of his body. We don't want his head to go towards the bottom, because that would make a very confusing bird, wouldn't it? So I'm going to glue his head up towards the top of his body, and I'm going to glue it just like I've been gluing everything else. After you glue the head down, he is missing a couple of things. He's missing a beak and an eye. To make his beak, we're going to use all the scrap paper that we have from our watercolor painting. So we can use this, and his beak is a simple triangle. So I think I want my bird's beak to be this reddish pink color, but you can choose whatever color from your painting you would like to use for his beak. And I'm just gonna cut out a triangle shape. I'm gonna see if I like it. Now for my first bird's head that I did earlier, it took me quite a few tries to get a beak that I was happy with. So you might have to try a couple of times before you're totally happy with your beak shape and color. After you are happy with it, we're gonna go ahead and glue it down. For his beak, we don't want to glue it to the top of his head or the back of his head, not the bottom of his head, but we're gonna glue his beak to the right side of his head. And I'm gonna glue it down and count to 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Do a quick wiggle test. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Nothing fell off. And I'm going to now use my oil pastel. And you might notice I have drawn some branches. I did that in my last video that got deleted. But I'll show you how to do that in a minute. I'm just gonna take my black oil pastel, and I'm going to give him an eye. And that's just a simple circle right on his head. Now you could leave it like this, or you could draw some eyelashes for your bird. That's totally up to you and what you would like your bird to look like. Now, if you have time at the end, then you can add some branches to your tree. And that is just some diagonal lines. So I'm just using diagonal lines. Those are lines that are at an angle. They're slanted a little bit. And you can draw some smaller diagonal lines on the bigger ones. And those create branches for our trees. I'm even doing some on the side over here, just some short diagonal lines. And we wanted to add branches to our trees so that we could have our bird actually standing on something, because right now it looked like he was just floating in the air. So I drew a branch right underneath my bird, and then I drew some legs, and I'm going to give him some feet using some more diagonal lines. And then we are done for today. So all you got to do is cut and glue your bird together, add some details like eyes and feet, and maybe if you have time, you can add some branches to your birch trees. I hope you guys have a lot of fun during this portion of our project. I can't wait to see how your birds are turning out. I know they're going to be amazing because you guys are amazing. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.